we're going to get right to it. Good to have you, man.
Man, it's good to be here, man. Thank you for having me on your show, man.
Oh, man, it's nothing, man. I had to have you. When I was making my list of all the people that I wanted to come on, I wanted high impact creatives, and this is what we're talking about right now. Okay, this is who I got sitting next to me, and we're gonna get right to it, man. You've had a long, successful career in a very demanding industry. What are some important lessons you would say that you've learned to stay relevant as a musician over the years?
Wow, that's a great question. So I can say let me go back to where I came from. Came from Rockford, Illinois. I was influenced by two uncles that are musicians or organists. I have another uncle who was a drummer, and I have a cousin who passed last year. He's like my big brother cousin. He was very influential in my raising as far as music. So I watched him, and man, he had, like, back in the 80s, man, he had like the Crumar keyboards, the Roland Junos, and all that stuff. Yeah, he had the good stuff, man. So I was captivated by all the keyboards that he had, which made me want to emulate them. So what I used to do, I used to go to my home church about 9 a.m. And I would stay there. I would practice playing drums. I would practice programming on the Corrigal one.
So were you a drummer first?
Yeah, I'm a drummer first, man.
Shout out to the drummers first. I think most keyboardists are drummers first because I think that's the only instrument they trust us on.
Yeah,
drums, right. And I think mine was bongos, actually. Bongos and drums.
Yeah.
So you come from a musical family.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would go to the church around 9 a.m., practice the drums. I would program. So I had the O&W, and I had it MIDI to the D7D, MIDI to a TS12, MIDI to like a Korg DW 9000. Wow. So I learned how to MIDI everything up and program through my cousin. So I remember I was programming some stuff, and my cousin came into the church. He said, "Okay, that sounds great. So let's take this out. Let's take that out. Let's take that out." So I had at least maybe 16 instruments going on at one time. I thought I was doing something, man, but he took that out and he was like, "Man, less is best." Yeah. So I kind of taken that approach throughout my career, my years. So the thing that really helped me, though, I had vision. Yeah. I saw myself being a producer. I saw myself being a musician. I saw myself, playing on tours. And because I saw myself doing that, I made sure that I aligned myself to what a producer does, to what a musician does. Mm-hmm. So I practiced, listened to music. I would read the album covers to see who's doing what.
I miss album covers, man. I wish they still had them, man.
Man, I wish they would go back.
When you were coming up to look on the album cover and just see who was playing on these records, man, I remember looking at those James Hall records, man.
Absolutely.
And seeing Melvin Crispell, and shout out to Melvin Crispell and John Peters, who was a huge influence on my playing, man. But you said something I want to go back to that I'm noticing with everyone that I have on this show. Powerful manifestors. Mm-hmm. He said he saw himself being a good musician. He saw himself touring. He saw himself. Speak on that, man. Speak on how you spoke this stuff into existence and how you had to see it. Mm-hmm. You got to speak it, but you also you got to see it. You got to see the
absolutely.
Vision, man.
So to really tell the truth, I feel that we don't, or we're not born, and all of a sudden we choose to do what we do. I believe that it's the Spirit of God that puts His vision into us, and then we come to a perhaps a place of maturity, and we're able to see things in the spirit or see things in invisible realm that speaks to us. And when those things speak to us, we just go after it.
Yeah.
So for me, I always...
Well, not everybody.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
You went after it, though.
That's true. So, yeah, I saw it before I was able to really, hold a service, or I saw it before I was really fluent on keys.
Yeah.
But because I saw this vision, I kept pursuing it. So in my pursuit, I would practice, read, glean from, whoever I can to help me to get to this level.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So you talked about, who was that, your uncle?
Oh, so I had two uncles that are organists, Dr. Washington, Dr. Charles Washington, and another uncle. His name is Herbert Washington. Then I have an uncle who was a drummer, Tim Washington. Then my big brother cousin, Stan Penix, who was very influential in helping me he taught me how to arrange, like verse, chorus, bridge, vamp out, or whatever. And he also helped me to learn how to, program as well. So.
Oh, wow. So who was the influence behind your playing? That sounds more like production and making songs and things, but who are your playing influences?
Oh, man. So, my playing influences, number one, my big brother cousin who passed about a year ago, Stan Penix. He was my mentor. So even now, I sit on the organ like him. I move like him. So during my early years, he was the organist. I was the drummer.
Oh, okay.
So, I had to watch him because I didn't know where he was going, and we didn't have talkback mics then.
No, of course not.
We just feel.
Yeah, you had to fill it out and communicate.
Fill it out, watch. So he was very influential. And then also Ernie Allen was
Shout out to Ernie.
Yeah, man. He still can play.
Oh, yeah.
He still can kill it. He was very influential. There were others like, the Tommy's band was very influential in every aspect of music. So,
Richard Gibbs.
Oh, man.
Al, man.
Steve Huff. Percy, Darius, all of them. Then another group from Rockford. This group was called Psalms 100. They were like a cross between like quartet, funk, pop, gospel, a little bit of punk. So
really? Punk?
Yeah. So,
nice little gumbo there. Okay.
Yeah, so they were just a hodgepodge of different genres.
Shout out to Rockford. Okay. You making some beast out there in Rockford. Okay. If you made this guy right here, you making some beast out there. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Great influences. So would you say that were you a musician first, then a producer, or because it sounded like early on you were trying to arrange and do some things?
I was definitely...
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, I was a musician first. And you know what I used to do? I had this stereo system. I had, 2 cassettes. And my mom and dad bought me this little Yamaha PSR something keyboard.
Ooh, that was my first keyboard. Yeah, PSR, man, with them baby keys. Yes, man, I love that board. Mine had lights over it. It would light up. Yeah. So it actually taught me how to play songs.
Yeah.
Real generic songs, but it did teach me some stuff.
Absolutely. So plugged it up to my stereo system. So I would find a preset as far as a drum loop. And I would let that play for about 5 minutes. I would take the cassette out of one, put it in the other. And then while the cassette deck that has the loop playing, I would hit play on that, and then I would hit record on the other one. So it is picking up the loop, and it's also picking up what I'm playing.
I didn't know you could do
that.
So
I would like do the bass line, and then I would switch the tapes. And then I would put my keys.
Y'all don't know how easy y'all got it, man. I had a little Yamaha. it was a Yamaha something. I can't think of what the name of it was, but it was this big. Yeah. And all I remember is I had to play everything through all the way.
Yeah.
Like the piano, I had to play from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
The drums, I had to play from beginning to end. Wasn't no looping, wasn't no 4-bar loop. So you just had to be consistent.
Right. It wasn't no copy and paste.
No, man.
Yeah, man. So that's so yeah, man, I started doing that. And it just kind of became a thing for me. So it kind of actually that was like a safe space for me.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else is out playing and doing their thing. But I was in my bedroom, man, trying to figure this thing out. I was trying to get all these ideas out of my head and just explore sonics and sounds and things of that nature.
I heard Rodney Jerkins talk about how when he was working with Michael Jackson and how Michael Jackson would always complain how drum sounds were so generic.
Right.
Very generic sounding. So he would tell him to go to a junkyard and just hit on stuff and record it. And he said he does that to this day just to find something interesting. You know, just sonically you wanna have something interesting that's yours. That's your own and that feels good. So maybe talk about like your approach in production. For example, someone sends you a song and they say, okay, I need you to put music to this song. How are you starting? Like, what is, I know some people start with a MPC, they start with a drum machine. You are a keys player, so I would assume you may start there, but I don't know. However you start, but you just kind of walk us through that for some of these people who are thinking about being a producer. All right. And being a musician does not make you a producer by a long shot.
Right.
For some reason in church, people will come up to you because you're a musician and they just assume that you're a producer. And they're like, I want you to do my song. And that happened to me so many times. And I would just say yes and keep trying until I got it right.
Yeah.
You know, but production is so much. It's administration. It's vocal production. You know, you have to vocally produce the singer while they're in the booth.
Absolutely.
You know, speak on that a little bit.
So so my approach, man, it's kind of different. Of course, whoever gives me a song, I'll listen to it, I'll live with it, to see what I will call what home I can create for these lyrics in this melody. Also, some songs to me, they have some elements of visuals, or if the lyrics are well written. I can kind of feel and sense or see where the song is going.
Yeah, the whole story.
Right, which to me kind of dictates to me, this is what type of piano I should use. So sometimes I may start with the piano, or sometimes I might start with just a simple, beat, or might put something in the MPC.
I think I like that way. I like to loop something first and then kind of
mess with it.
And then play through it with the piano. But that's
so sometimes I might take the verse and just loop the verse 8 measures. And once I find that thing for that verse, then I'll move on.
Move on to the next section.
That's pretty much my approach.
These are gems. If you're thinking about being a producer, this is something you need to take into consideration. Taking the song section by section and just working your way through it, and allowing the song to tell you what it needs. The song, if you let the song will tell you what it needs.
Absolutely.
And what needs to happen along with your creativity.
Absolutely. And then I think another thing too, we have to have a type of discipline where, because being musical, there are so many things that we can hear just in the verse, just in those 8 measures. So, but I think we have to also be disciplined to the point where we have to be careful of what we put in those 8 measures. Sonically, as far as
we're not overproducing.
Right, chords, or even the rhythm of your drums. All of that plays a part into uplifting the message of those verses.
And every section I think should be as well thought out as that intro, that big intro you put on the song. I love intros. I'm a huge fan of intros. Like, I will spend some time on just the intro because I know how I am. And I remember when I used to go to listen to songs, and if I'm not impressed within like the first 10, 15 seconds, it's like I'm going to the next song.
Right. Yeah.
And I know I'm that way. So I assume there's other people like that. So I try to grab you immediately, but every part of your song needs to be as well thought out as that chorus. You know, if the chorus feels good, the verse can't not feel good. You know, the bridge can't not feel good. You know what I mean? So everything feel good. That's another thing I want to say.
You got to feel right.
It has to feel good.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the lyrics can be, you know what I mean? But if the song feels good,
it will
how
go
many hits are out there that, you know what I mean, that ain't really saying nothing, but it just feels great every time you hear it.
Absolutely.
I heard someone say that a good melody will often cover up a bad lyric. You know, melody, rhythm, all that stuff feels good.
Absolutely.
And I learned this early on as a musician because I had a drummer. And I'm not going to say who he is, but I had a drummer and he always preached pocket. That's all he said. He said, nah, I just stay in the pocket. Every drummer came to church, he told me, y'all got to stay in the pocket. So much that I got tired of hearing it. But he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with musicians who pocket doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You understand?
Man.
Like, even though it's pocket, it still got to feel good.
It got to feel right.
You understand what I'm saying?
But you know what? And think of the interesting thing about that. I was thinking about something the other day about the pocket, and I feel like, your pocket can be right, but to me, I think another thing that helps is even how you hit the drum, how you hit the snare, how you finesse those ghost notes on your kick, and how you finesse those goat notes on your hi-hat. All that stuff plays a very vital part of your pocket. And if I could, it's like I'm hearing what I'm hearing, but if I can't feel it, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I won't even start on a song if I'm not in a certain
vibe, or
if I'm not feeling it because it's not gonna get the best out of me. You know what I mean? So I'll wait until I'm inspired or something inspires me or something. You talked about ghost notes, which I love drummers ghost notes as well as I love the mutes on the bass.
Oh, absolutely.
That in between.
Yeah.
That stuff makes a difference, man.
Absolutely.
It makes the song just groove and feel good. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want to hear just really good feeling music, listen to anything from the 70s.
Oh,
I think 70s is the best generation of music, man, because those musicians just felt great. Yeah. Even a bass player was different than the bass player today, right? The bass player today grooves and does foundation. Yeah. But the bass player back then was almost like a singer. Yeah, like you think about Jameson and
right.
You listen to how he played that stuff on his back and drunk, by the way, but you know what I mean? Yeah. But still he was a singer, and like it's so many lessons in making a song feel good.
Absolutely.
And we talked about not overproducing and less is more. How do you know that you're finished with a song? Like it's just you're producing and you've gotten through all the songs, you've done all the parts. How do you know, like, okay, I'm ready to send this to the artist?
Wow, that's a good question. For me, it's probably, I've discovered that in a couple different ways. Sometimes I may do a song and the singer may just send me like a voice note.
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to create it through that voice note, and then he or she will come in, sing on top of it, of what I've created. And then once that person actually sings on it, I'm like, man, either I have too much or I have too little.
So let's stop right there. So he's talking about a reference vocal. Very, 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 very important. And I work the same way. So normally I will take the voice note and chop it up into my session. Right. Like I'll have it across the top and I'll try to make it
into you put
line up and just whatever it is. But then even after that, once they hear it, I'll have them come in and actually sing the reference vocal for everybody else.
Right.
Because I have a background vocal arranger, I have all these things. And they build better when they have the lead singer and everything, you know, in the pocket doing what it is. So that's awesome, man. So man, it's so much to talk about this production stuff. Let's talk about getting the best out of your singer. Like pulling the best out of your singer. I think as a producer, it's your job to pull the best out of your singer.
Absolutely.
It's matter of fact, it's your job to pull out stuff that they didn't even know that was in them.
Absolutely.
If I'm being honest. And sometimes you get singers and it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like they don't have it. Right. But even in that, you still have to
maneuver.
Yeah, you got to maneuver and try to make them great. Let's talk about, dealing with artists. There's so much to talk about here. Artists that come in, right? And to me, this is just my experience. Sometimes the new artists who have never recorded know the most stuff. They just know everything.
Yeah, right.
They come in and they know what they want. They know this, know that. And then you have to recommend, put your recommendations down. But at the end of the day, they are the client. They are the paying customer. You got to give them what they want.
Right, correct.
I can tell you I've had songs where I said, I will produce this song, but I will not put my name on it.
Ouch.
No, because what's going to happen is they're going to go out, because of your name, they're going to go out there and they're going to brag about who their producer is. And they're going to be like, no, he didn't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And your sound is your name, it's your reputation, Right. So, how do you kind of balance that line? Because let's be honest. If we're being honest, the people who pay the bills here at DDP Studios, I gotta watch what I'm saying. I gotta be careful. I have a lot of great artists, and so maybe I shouldn't say this because I don't want people guessing who I'm talking about. Right. But some artists, they come in and they have the big budgets, but they don't have the talent. They don't have the gifts. Right. And you can't necessarily tell them, well, you're not a good singer. You can't tell them that because then you can't pay the bills. Right. But at the same time, you have to have a very honest conversation about this song, about what we're doing and what needs to happen. Right. And sometimes that can get a little uncomfortable, but you have to be very honest. God has blessed me with a lot of talented people, and I thank God for that. But there are some who,
they need some work.
Yeah, and you have to be very honest. It's better that I'm honest here, and it's just me and you. Yeah, and I kind of Joe Jackson you up in there, right. Before you get out there and everybody's talking about you and they talking about your music, and it's better that I kind of get you right in here and say, look, you got to go get some vocal lessons. You need to do this. You need to. You need to lay off the cigarettes. You need to. No, I'm very serious. Like you have to. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can get uncomfortable, but you want them to have the best possible product, right? And bring the best out of them. And sometimes that can get very uncomfortable. We're gonna leave that alone before I get in trouble. So, having worked with major artists, I'm sure you toured with people and things like that. Kind of, just tell us about that.
I think when you're dealing with artists, I think the first and foremost thing we must do, have a conversation with them, see where their vision is, see what their vision is. And I think the more you have dialogue with that artist, I think there is a type of trust that's built between you two. Yeah. So if there is something that you as a producer that they're paying you to produce a finished product. If you have the trust with that artist, I believe that a producer will be able to say, "Hey, this is not working. Let's try this, or let's try ABC." And because of the trust that's built up, they may go with you. Yeah, they may say, "Hey."
Well, oftentimes they do. Yeah, because they trust you, especially if you've done this and you got a history of it. Right. You and that's the thing. So let's talk about that. The next question I'm gonna ask you is, what exactly is a producer? I think we gotta explain that to people because most people have no idea what a producer is. So kind of talk about what is a producer and what all that entails. Because it's a lot.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, a producer is one who completes the final product from what musicians plays on the record to who mixes, who masters,
and often that can be you.
Yeah. Sometimes even handling budget items. So it's pretty much he is overseeing the totality of a song in every aspect.
Right. So you bring the song, you explain your vision, you give it to the producer, and you let them work. right? And it's from beginning to end. He sees that project from the time you bring it to him, from the time that it's mixed and mastered and being put out, whatever.
Yep.
That's a lot of administration. Sometimes it's a lot of emails, a lot of sending files, it's a lot of communication. You need to be a great communicator to be a producer. You cannot be a bad communicator whatsoever. You will not be producing long, right? You have to earn the trust of the artists and everybody around it. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it's hard because the good singers, the great singers that you want to bring in to do backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, they're all busy. They're all doing different schedules. You got to sometimes you got to have a midnight session because that's the only way you're gonna get it done. You know what I mean? And so, it happens that way. But basically, seeing the project from beginning to end is your job.
Absolutely.
And everything in between, all the beginning part, in the between parts, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So let's go back to, the whole musician thing. And I know for a fact that the first time that I ever saw you play was on a recording for Ricky Dillard at Morgan Park.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in the balcony. And I think it was you, Derek Hearn, Rick Robinson, my man on the organ, the guy.
Mike Taylor.
Yeah, Mike Taylor. Yeah. And I think Calvin and Rex were like trading off drums and things like that. And it was an amazing recording, man. Incredible recording. Talk about what it takes to be a live recording musician. What does that look like?
Oh man, it takes knowing your craft, number one. Number two, it takes discipline. You can't play what you want to play.
Yeah.
Number three, you have to have
because Ricky don't play.
No.
As a matter of fact, let's talk about that exact recording. I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody who could not get that song right, the lead part. And he gave him chance after chance after chance after chance. And he had a backup in the choir that came down and blew that thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that.
Yeah.
I have a memory like an elephant. So you have to be, because some of these, these artists, they want what they wanted and they want it the way they want it, and it can be hard.
Yeah.
Walt Whitman, he's a great example of an artist that knows what he wants.
Right.
He's not going to accept, nothing. He's actually one of the better paying artists, if I'm being honest. Yeah, he's one of the, he calls. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, I'll be there.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you have to be disciplined. You have to know your craft, man. You have to practice. Everything is not just, some of you guys have great bumps, but can you play a hymn?
Yeah. And another thing too, I think the number one thing is the song is important.
Yeah.
You have to play within the confines or within the boundaries of the song.
Absolutely.
And then once you step out of that boundary of the song, you really it really shows that you're just really about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you could play in the boundaries of a song, and even though the credits say Erron Williams, I just can't play what I want to play because I'm Erron Williams and I know these substitute chords and all this stuff. There is some stuff that I have played where even I had to listen to myself. I'm like, is that me? Because I'm not just hearing me, I'm hearing the whole collaboration of a whole band.
Right.
So I'm not just listening for what I've done. So I think that's another thing that's very important, is being able to communicate musically and have musical intelligence.
Yeah.
Knowing when to, like when we come out of a verse into the chorus, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you put your passing chords in there, or do you cleanly go from verse 1 to the chorus?
Well, if it's a recording, you better cleanly go.
Exactly.
Unless it was done in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to do that, man. That is so very important. Placement. Picking your spots. And even though you're staying in the confines of the song, it's still the feel of Erron. Erron's still putting his feel on it. You know what I mean? Even though he's still, playing the feel. And that's a great thing. And of course, there's overdubs and things like that.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of musicians in the past that have been overdubbed without them even knowing.
Yeah.
Thinking they were on a record and they really wasn't.
Absolutely.
It can happen. So being disciplined. Let's talk about touring.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about touring. What does that entail, and how is that different from, say, playing a concert or a Sunday morning?
Oh man, playing on tour versus, of course, church. Playing a concert is very the dynamics are different. Mm-hmm. So, like in a concert, you could play a song all the way through, and you can have a reprise. Mm-hmm. That reprise can go on for 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
On tour, it's not like that. Mm-hmm. Let's say if your set is 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Your set
is 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Yeah, it's 50 minutes.
There is no. It's structured. Mm-hmm. So I don't care how good the vibe feels with the crowd, with the artist. Mm-hmm. When that 50 minutes is up, is up. And then there is, there is some musical freedom that you have, playing on some tours, and then I think that depends on the artist that you're playing for.
Yeah, that makes the biggest difference.
That's a whole nother aspect.
Because some of them will let you stretch out more than others, and some of them just want the record.
Yeah, exactly.
They want it. If it was a little on the record, they want that. They want to hear every little thing from the record. I think a lot of people don't understand just the life of a touring musician. It's very different. Mm-hmm. It could be a 5 a.m. lobby call, rehearsals. I know artists that rehearse their musicians from 9 to 5 every single day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I know. And then some of these artists, you may not come home but 2 weeks every 2 quarters or something like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because they're always out. Like, it is a very hard life. Actually.
Strenuous.
It's a very strenuous, different hotels, different cities. And there are artists that, every night they can be in a different city. You know what I mean? And you have to be, ain't no, I'm late or I got a flat tire or nothing. No, you better be in that. You fired. They sending you home.
I think another aspect that people don't look at is home life.
Yeah.
Because you're out for 4 or 5 months, 6 months. Are you able to take care of your bills, your rent, things of that nature? Also, like for me, the thing that kind of wore me out about touring was restaurant food. Mm-hmm. Like eating at a restaurant like twice a day or something.
No good.
Like that. And I got to the point. I got to the point where I would go to the grocery store and I would get bread, bologna, potato chips, and just try to, change.
Try to make it work.
Try to make it work. And then back then, per diem, you had to be careful because you had to wash your clothes.
Yeah. So per diem is something different than what you get paid. That's just like your eating money kind of thing, and it's different for every artist how much that is.
Exactly. Yeah. So my experience was, it was great to go to different cities and meet different musicians and see certain artists that I would never thought I would see.
I think that's the best part of touring.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the best part. Just the different cities and meeting the musicians that you've only seen online, and of course, back in the day, there was no social media like this.
Right.
If you wanted to hear Mike Burrell, you either heard him on a record or you were in LA. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Unless he came to your city, you caught him when they came. And that's another thing. How do you feel like, I remember a time where every city had their own specific sound, and they couldn't, Detroit had their sound, Chicago, and we still got it that way, sorta.
Right.
LA have a sound, but social media has kind of made it a little less easy to spot sometimes because now I can study on Mike Burrell. I can study these people. The access to it is you know what I mean? It's not like when I was coming up. There was no YouTube. You were at another musician's mercy to show you something or teach you something. I had a musician, man, he told me, and I'm not going to say, he shall remain nameless, but I asked him, I was a young kid, and I was just like, man, how did you learn how to play like this? Like, where'd you? And he said, man, go listen to the tape. That's what he kept saying. He said, go listen to the tape. He would see me come up to the org, he been pushed in on the drum ball. You know how it is. It's like kids never wanted to lose their edge.
Right.
And so they felt by not showing you anything, they kept their edge.
Right.
But I've learned, and I've been different my whole musical career. Anyone who's followed me know that I give it away.
Yeah.
I put it out there. The videos out there. Everything is out there because God told me. He said, you know, the more you give away, the more I'm going to give you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so helping, and a lot of this stuff is for the church anyway. So why are you trying to, you know, hold it or gatekeep it? That's which is a whole nother topic in the music industry. But gatekeeping, man. Listen, man, we went all over the place. Lord have mercy. Who was your favorite artist to play for?
Oh man.
You can just name a few.
Man, so I would probably say, man, I had the opportunity to play for Ann Nesby, 96. That was my first touring experience.
Oh wow!
So she knew my family, I knew hers, so it was real easy. It was almost like playing in church to a certain degree.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites, and I had the opportunity to play. Now, this is everybody may not know this person, but I had the opportunity to play behind Robert Palmer. He's way back.
Way back in the day.
He used to be a part of this band called Power Station.
Okay.
Had this drummer named Tony Thompson, was absolutely insane. One of my favorites. I had the chance to play a tune, Zoom, with Lionel Richie.
Oh, nice!
And to me, that was like the pinnacle.
The pinnacle. Lionel has great energy, man. My wife watches American Idol. I'm telling you, without Lionel, that show wouldn't exist.
Yeah,
his energy is off the chain. Man.
Yeah, man. And I mean, it was just a one-off, but still, I was just like, I can't believe
it's
on
a great
stage
opportunity
with
man.
this guy that I've been listening to his music on radio for years. Let me see. Of course, Ricky Dillard, I would say one of the greatest choir directors, choir masters there is.
Hands down. And still belting out. And I mean, there are not a lot of great recording choirs anymore, and he's still very effective, very efficient,
absolutely.
Still on top of his game, still making incredible music, man. So shout out to Ricky Dillard, another hometown hero.
Yeah. There was there's even some local people that I had the opportunity to produce and play for. One of them was Jason Shepard. His first project, I think it was Songs Volume 1, something like that. To me, man, that project to me was a game changer. Because even though we are all in Chicago and Chicago has its sound, but it was still sort of Chicago, but it was so unique.
Yeah.
And the reason, I think one of the things that made it so unique was the songwriting, which dictated to, me, my guy, Steve Goldsmith, on how to arrange it, how to sonically put these songs in its own home.
Yeah.
Another local guy, I loved playing for, Curtis Brown. He's praise and worship director at New Faith Baptist in Matson.
Shout out to New Faith.
Yeah, man. So those are some of the few individuals some of my favorite individuals that I played for.
Very good. So let's talk about this because we got to bring it up. How is it? And we've had this conversation before, but I want to have it on the podcast about having a sister in Destiny Child or a famous sister like that. Like, how is that being? Just as a brother.
Oh man, it was when the first time I heard that she made the group, I was absolutely blown away. So prior to her getting into Destiny's Child, she was singing background for Monica.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she was a background singer. So she was going to Illinois State. I believe it might have been, I want to say the late Freddie Moffitt. They said, hey, Monica is looking for some background singers, try it out. And she made it. Then later on, she heard about the auditions and she was like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Now, let me pause right there. My sister, even growing up, she had this type of audacity where she was very active, or we would probably say she was bad.
All right, talk about it, Reverend.
But translating that into today, and she might have been bad, but she had this type of audacity that she wasn't afraid to try.
Mm.
So when she got into that group, I was like, "You kidding me?" I'm like,
yeah,
my sister, choir director at the church, teaching parts, and we would argue and fuss about the parts. She was a perfectionist, and so was I. But to see her get to that place was it was unbelievable. So now, as a brother, I felt like it was my responsibility to protect and cover.
Of course.
Of course, everybody didn't like her tone, didn't like her voice. And there were times where I had to get on social media and I had to cover.
Yeah.
I had to, defend my sister.
It's family, man.
And there was a situation at one of the convocations in Memphis where she sang, and after she got done singing, actually they didn't. Now the crazy part about it is that she comes from the Church of God in Christ. Now I would probably get in trouble, or they might take my license, but
we might edit it out.
That's okay. That's all right. But she sung at the convocation, and she was not received because of who she sings for.
Yeah.
So after that, there was some guy. He was talking crazy, like, "Man, she can't sing, yada 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 yada." So I'm an even keel type of dude. Yeah. There's nothing too much that really gets me going, man.
But family will do it, huh?
But man, listen, when I tell you, I think I would have went to jail that night.
Yeah.
It was me. It was me and some of my cousins, man. We was chasing this dude.
Not chasing him.
Man, we was chasing him. We was gonna get him. And that would have been one of the nights I would have went to jail.
Get the bail money, leave family alone. And and that's the thing, man. If you're gonna be in a light, you almost gotta kind of expect
you gotta expect
it's gonna be people. You know what I noticed? What I've learned, Erron, is the people who hate the most and have the most to say, it's a self-reflection, right?
Yes,
it's because most hate comes from this. What makes you think you can go out there and just do it and make it happen for yourself? Like, why is it that he can go do this and I can't? And I can't go do my goals and do my. That's really where it comes from.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's a personal. It really isn't even about the person that they're hating on.
Yeah.
It's more of a self-reflection of
absolutely
who you think you are, that you can go out here and snap necks and cash checks and earn and burn and make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like a mixture of time and preparation and also God's favor. Because there are some people there are some people out there that are extremely talented.
Yeah.
They can play and sing circles around who's who. But for some reason, maybe there's something that they're missing.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have the work ethic, or maybe they just don't have the heart posture, integrity, right? And that's another thing. Maybe they have some character flaws that like we all do. But I believe that there is a place where if you can get to a place in your heart posture or your character, I believe that God can trust you with some things. And for me, when I look at my sister, I look at her, I'm like, man, I believe that God has a sense of trust in her to be able to take her from a small little town in Rockford. And you are part of one of the all-time best-selling girls group ever. And I really think that's a lot. I think that really speaks volumes to not only her part in the group, but again, her character. Even before she got in the group, her work ethic was impeccable. She would teach songs at my home church, and she would have every part down packed. Some people they teach a part, and they have to go back and listen to it, then reteach it. So she took out the time to make sure that everything was in place. So when it came to, her getting into the group, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what she sang. She sang for the tryout. She sang a hymn. I believe it was "His Eyes on the Sparrow." So I'm like, you did what?
For the audition for Destiny Child.
For the audition. And she got in, but not only did she get in off of her talent, but the camaraderie that she had with the girls
was
something that they were looking for. So she didn't come in like, well, I'm the newest person. I'm finna take over.
Yeah, y'all need me.
Right, y'all need me. So she, she took the low road and, humbled herself, and then she was able to mesh with the girls. So I think it's just a plethora of things that that I saw in her that makes me look at her and then look at other people, and maybe again, I'm not saying that I know everything or I'm like God's watchman or I know His mind, but from what I've seen through others, like there is this thing of trust that I believe that God looks for in every person, especially when He gives you a gift that is not your own. It's like you are the steward
of this gift,
that gift. So can He trust you with what He has given you? And if He can't trust you, you'll be good, you'll be great. But you can only get so far.
You can only get so far. There's so many doors that our talent gets us in, but our character doesn't keep us there.
Absolutely.
Your character has to be able to keep you there, right?
Absolutely.
When preparation meets opportunity. The opportunity comes, you have to be prepared, but that integrity got to be there. That character got to be there.
Absolutely.
You got to stop lying. Folks is lying. Musicians lying. One thing it's very hard to do is lie to another musician, bro. Don't call me talking about you got a flat tire, bro, because I don't want to hear it. You got your car just broke down. You're driving a 2026. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Done that. You got to have integrity because it doesn't matter how good you play if I can't depend on you.
Right.
If you're not dependable.
And
we know we got musicians that are just they're just not dependable, so you can't use them, man. And so I love this story, man. This is great. I'm learning a lot because I didn't know half the stuff, and I don't think our audience did either, man. This is good stuff, man. So tell us about where you are today, man. I see I feel like you're doing ministry now, man. I feel like
man. So let me tell you about that. In my teens, there was a bishop that would come to the church, Bishop Michael Cole from North Dakota. He would run these revivals, and sometimes he would call me out and say, "Hey, man, you called the ministry." And at that time, I'm like, I ain't studying no ministry.
Often the people who are called, you read the Bible, the people who are called didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Man, listen, I didn't. I wanted to, be this musician, producer. So, in my early 20s, I was at my home church, and both of my uncles are, one is a pastor, the other one they both retired from pastoring. And they called me into the office and they sat me down. So when they called me into the office, I'm walking towards the office and I'm in my mind, I'm repenting. I'm like, Lord, listen, cleanse me, purge me.
Right.
Because I didn't know what they was going to say.
Of course.
So I got into the office and they said, "Hey, Erron, we think that you need to take your calling more seriously. And we think that you need to accept your call because there are a set group of people who are waiting for your voice." So because they were my uncles and my pastor, I said, okay, cool. I accept my call. So after that, man, I preached my first sermon maybe about 3-4 months after that. I believe
you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe the title of that sermon was "The Call of God." So after I did that, man, I went stone cold holiness.
As most of us do, right? Yeah.
Man, I was like, I ain't listening to no secular music. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. And I hit this threshold where I think I just kind of like I had a whole bunch of zeal, but I didn't have no knowledge.
Yeah.
Which because of the lack of knowledge, I hit this plateau. So after that, I was like, man, you know what? This preaching thing ain't
this ain't for me.
This ain't for me. So of course, the
book is called From Stone Cold Holiness to This Ain't For Me. That's good, man.
So of course, so I'm like, music, which is all in me. So I'm like, man, skip all this preaching stuff, man. I'm going back to production, which I moved from Rockford to Chicago to expand my musicality. So when I got to Chicago, I was like, man, this is it. Got into. I mean, I was already producing, but I started hanging out with the Great Boys Camp. Started doing sessions and things of that nature. Producing here and there. So preaching and ministry was in the back of my mind. Music was forefront. But later on, hanging out with, playing for Bishop Campbell, every once in a while he would call me off the organ, lay hands on me, and remind me about my calling and stuff like that. And even then, I still wasn't studying it. I'm like, man, this ain't. I'm like, nah, I ain't.
Right.
This ain't it.
When you done, I'm gonna get back on this organ.
I'm getting back on this organ, and I got a gig next week.
Right. You're talking about some preaching, man.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. So, but just for the past few years, man, the Lord has kind of told me to kind of just, music is not over. It's just not the priority. Lord has been dealing with me about ministry and my voice. Where am I in ministry, or what is my focus, or what should my focus be? Which is, of course, ministry. And I guess the Lord has kind of put this thing in me where every preacher has a voice. One talks about deliverance, one talks about faith, the other one talks about healing or whatever. But I really have a heart for people who are struggling mentally and emotionally, because
that's good.
So sometimes there are things that take the place, or there are some things that we go through that happens to sit on the seat of our heart. Which, of course, God should always have that seat in our heart. But I think because of, traumatic things that we went through, some failures, et cetera, we take God out of that place, and we put temporal things in that place. So now we have, now instead of God being our voice of reason, there are vices that we use to, well, those vices dictate to us our behavior, our language, our worldview, even our theology, even our ideology. So I think if we could get back to the place where we can put God back into the center, or in the place of where he needs to be, or in the seat of our heart, we could change our perspective. We can be renewed in our mind, and we could live life a little bit differently. Now, will life be easy because we put God back into the center? No, but our perspective will be different. So, like the Bible talks about, count things all joy when we go through, diverse temptations. So when people are hit with trouble, they automatically just crumble. Instead of going through this trouble, say, hey, I'm gonna get through this trouble. Even in this trouble, I see some traits of God in these troubles. So let me stay focused and let me get through this with the help of God.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man.
That's good, man. He just dropped a lot, a lot of stuff. I hope y'all listening to that. And you know, the scars that you get from going through are evidence that you survived.
Oh yeah.
You know, the best part of going through is actually getting through
it, man,
and getting to the other side.
Man, I went through some stuff that I never thought I would go through.
Yeah.
You know, losing a wife. And
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lost
and
a
that's
wife.
Wife is up there with mom and kids.
Yeah.
That's the same, you know.
Yeah, it definitely changed my perspective on things. So the grief, going through the grief, and now while you're going through grief, there are different stages that you go through, and sometimes I'm like, man, what could I have done that would have told God to keep her here, or maybe I should have done this differently, but I can't go back in that time.
No.
And redo what I think I should have did.
No, and you can't blame yourself for her timing either. Because that's what God allowed, and it's so hard to see God in death sometimes, man. I remember my mom passed, and it was one of the first times I ever was angry with God.
Absolutely,
I remember being angry with God, and I really felt bad, but I was in my car. I told my wife that I was going to the gym, and that was like an hour ago. My wife called me. I don't know. I have no idea how my wife knew this, but she calls me an hour later and she says, "David, get out of the car."
Mm-hmm.
And she's at home. There's no way she knows that I'm just sitting in this car.
Yeah.
But I was yelling at God, and I had to ask for forgiveness quickly.
Yeah.
That's just my own. I asked for God, but I was so angry with him because I knew if he had snapped his finger, my mom would still be here.
Yeah.
And that she had died so young, in my opinion. But I will tell you this, a lot of good came out of that.
Yeah.
Even with my mom being on hospice, she had cancer, and it was a slow cancer.
Yeah.
So I got to experience things with my mom that I had never experienced my entire life. Love that I was looking for, because she had to kind of depend on me for a lot of things. But it really healed me in a lot of ways. My ministry kicked off after my mom passed, because an important thing happens after a close loved one dies. You realize that time is shorter than you think.
Absolutely.
And that whatever goals that you're going after, you got to go after.
Yeah.
The Bible says life is fleeting, man.
It's like vapor.
Man, bro, we was just in our 20s.
Yeah.
We was just in our 20s going to the Great Boy concerts on Thanksgiving and Joshua joined all these places, man.
Absolutely.
But time is waiting for no one. So if you got some goals out there, man, get out there and get it done, because you just don't know.
And another thing about those goals is people think that I have to reach a certain pinnacle in my career to be successful. And I really don't think that's true. I think the most important thing is doing what God has given you to do. So, okay, let's say, so right now I have a drive full of music, songs that are still just, sitting on my drive. And my thing is, whether those songs get to Billboard or the top 10, that's fine. Even if it does not, I don't want to leave here full. I want to leave here empty. Or I want to know or feel that I have made my contribution to even the least or the greatest. So I just want to encourage people, man, whatever your goal is, whatever your thing is, man, do it to the fullest. Even if you are reaching millions, or even if you're reaching 100. Just like the Bible talks about how, Jesus, the great shepherd, man, he left the 99 to see about the one. So even if your talent, your gift, whether it's music, singing, poetry, dancing, whatever the case may be, even if one life is affected, you've done great.
Yeah.
You've done great.
And you talk about reaching millions, but reaching 1 or 2, 3 people are all connected, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what the benefits of helping that person to help another person is. You just don't know. You never know. So leave it out there. I often talk about and my audience has heard me say this a lot. Most people are forgotten completely after 3 generations. Completely forgotten. I'm talking about your great grandma. You don't know where she came from, what food she liked, what job she worked. You don't know nothing about her. And that's your family.
Right.
But, and this is to you, because I think a lot of producers, we have millions of songs on hard drives that are just sitting there.
Right.
You know, but that's your legacy.
Right.
Your music will be here long after you're gone.
That's true. That's true.
You know, that impact, you know, and this is just my personal thing, and I don't know if the Bible says this or not, but if God gives you a gift and he gives you music and he gives you songs and you don't do anything with them, you think you're not going to be held accountable for that?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, there's a thing called faith, and the Bible says without faith it is impossible.
Please God.
It's impossible to please him. So this goes beyond, your shouting, your dancing, all that stuff. But if you don't have the faith that you can achieve whatever it is, man, you can't please him.
No,
you can't please him. And the thing about it, I think the thing that's so displeasing to him is that he knows that he gave you something great.
Yeah.
But you don't know that it's great. So to a certain degree, that's like a lack of faith, or that's a lack of belief in God, that the supreme God, the creator of all creators, gave you something unique and different and special, but you don't believe that it is. And then another thing that happens is because we don't think that what we have is unique and special, we will go and copy somebody else's gift or talent. Now, my thing is, I have nothing against gleaning from, taking a part of somebody and adding it to you.
Oh, learning. Yeah, right. You got to learn.
Right, you got to learn.
Yeah. But you got to make it your own.
Yeah, you got to make it your own. Yeah. But I think it kind of displeases God when he's giving you something and you look at it in its infancy and you say it is nothing, but you have to take time and you have to develop that gift. Sometimes some people, like nowadays, these kids that's coming out the womb now, man, they have a type of understanding that we didn't have, but even so, they still had to develop that thing. So I think the thing that pleases God is of course faith. Knowing that he has given us something great, something unique, and you take that and you develop that thing and you use it for God's glory.
That's so good,
whether you're in church, wherever, anywhere outside the 4 walls. Of course, God gives us gifts for the perfecting of saints. But I really believe that God even gets glory when we go out of those 4 walls, because I believe that there are people.
Well, that's the commission.
Yeah.
That's the commission. Some people are never going to come into the church. They're never going to come in. You have to go out there and get them. Oh man, you said so much good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
So much good stuff in there. I will say this. Sometimes we don't finish or put stuff out or do stuff because we don't feel like we're enough.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people, we don't touch this. Feeling like you're enough is an emotional thing. It's a mental thing that you have to get over.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I've seen in this studio right here, people write songs and do nothing with them. And that song still comes out by someone else.
Wow.
I've seen it at least 5 times in my life, where maybe the chord changes a little different, tempo or something, the beat was, but it was the exact same song. Wow. And God said, you didn't do nothing with it. It's too important to not get out. And he gave it to somebody else. I've seen it happen. Wow. And we get into this place where we feel like we're not enough. And I'm going to leave with this because, look, we passed the hour. This thing that went so fast. I believe in my heart that we just don't know how much God loves us. Man, honestly, we just don't.
Yeah, we don't know,
man.
We don't know.
We've been programmed to feel less than.
Yeah.
Our history has been hidden from us as far as God's chosen people, and I'm not even going to touch that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother subject. Who do we look down on as a people? Nobody. but ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no other culture that we'll joke, but we don't look down on anybody. Right. But everybody looks down on us. Absolutely. Who does that sound like? Sounds like God's chosen people.
Yeah.
We don't know how much God really loves us. Because if we did, we would know that we're enough. And I think everybody at some point in life feels like they're not enough or whatever. But you really have to read that book and know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Absolutely.
You are the head, not the tail.
Absolutely.
You are the lender and not the borrower. If God is saying this about you, who cares what other people are saying?
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, who cares what you're saying about yourself?
Yeah.
It's about that Bible. That Bible is telling you who you are, and you got to go with that.
Yeah.
So if you got dreams and things that you want to do, I admonish you to attack them.
Yeah.
You don't know how much time you got left.
Right. Absolutely.
And you don't know the mass scale of people that you will affect with this gift.
Yeah. And I think another thing too, we have to understand that everybody won't like your gift.
Right.
But I believe that God has a set number of people that has an ear.
And it's plenty.
Right. That has an ear that's inclined to what you do.
Yeah.
Everybody don't like my plan. And I'm cool with that.
Who are these people?
I don't know.
Point them out.
But there's some people that, so for example, there were some people that could not stand the tone of my sister's voice. But I had to look at it from a different perspective, is that it's not so much about her voice or her singing. It's about the place that God put her in to be able to affect millions of people. Mm-hmm. So the thing that the masses don't know is that she has had the ability to pray with, encourage R&B singers, fans, things of that nature. And everybody is just focused on how she sounds. Mm-hmm. But there's a bigger purpose, a bigger picture behind what she does. So when it comes to us creatives, there is a bigger picture beyond the sound or beyond the song, behind your playing. There are people that are watching us. Mm. And the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. Yeah. So some people may not like what you do, but you can't get offended with that. Mm-hmm. You just have to say, okay, well, cool. There's somebody else that does like and does appreciate what I do. Yeah. So I think that will kind of help us get some of this stuff out of our head, because a lot of times we're like, there's some songs I produce. I'm like, man, I can't stand that song. But there's some people that came up to me and like, man, that song is awesome. Or this helped me. Yeah. Which totally changed my perspective.
Change your perspective.
It's like, so now I'm like, it's not about me. Yeah. It's not about what I don't like. So, you're definitely right. God loves us, man.
Yeah. And people really need to know how much. I remember Marvin Sapp said that he didn't want to come out with Never Would Have Made It. Mm-hmm. It's his most popular song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Song, but his wife made him come out with it, and he didn't like it. Toni Braxton didn't like Unbreak My Heart. She thought it was Disney. Man. It's her biggest selling song. You know, sometimes you just have to do, man, and let the work do what it's going to do. I want to leave with this for musicians, because we're both musicians. Take your craft serious. We will never know the scope of people we touch.
Absolutely.
Because we'll play and yokes will be broken, burdens removed, and they'll walk right out that door.
Right.
Absolutely. Very rarely do people come up to the organ, to the keyboard. It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah.
And say, this really blessed me, or I was thinking about this and it really, and then just to tell you how important music is, if David can play a harp and deliver evil spirits without laying on hands, without oil, without prayer service, without a shut-in, without all of the stuff that we like in church, it tells you how powerful music is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Music is the first form of wireless communication, right? It gets there, but a different way. Right. It's one of the most powerful instruments. You have to be very careful. Yeah. I'm talking to all the musicians out there, because what you play is powerful in the spirit realm.
Absolutely.
It's more powerful than you'll ever know.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And we're going to leave it there. Man, Erron, I have enjoyed this show, man.
Yes, man.
I didn't know we was going to be on here this long, and I didn't know we was going to be talking about all this, but You have came through, and I appreciate it. I knew God has sent you here to bless the people, man. So please like and share the broadcast, man, so we can share this thing. And I appreciate having you, Reverend.
Man, thank you so much, Bishop Davis.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Like and share.